The most painful fast food deaths ever. And I mean ever.
Raise the roof. It was just another Saturday night in Harriman, Utah, a quiet suburb 30 minutes outside Salt Lake City. At a local Domino's, orders were taken, pizzas were baked, and both customers and employees alike conversed with each other.
Since I'm closing tonight, can I get the ox?
No.
Bro, please.
No.
Please.
No! Stop asking me. Just shut up and make pizzas.
My ox is so good, man. Just look. I got Lil Poomp, 6ix9ine, Diddy, and Bebopa. Bebopa? Bedoa Booty. I also got Miles, man. Just please, dude. I want to be on ox tonight.
Shut up! Your taste sucks. That's why your girl left you.
Damn.
Eat the f***ing pizzas.
However, amidst all the friendly banter, an SUV tangled in a 3-car accident would veer off its course and smash directly into the Domino's pizza. And as if the crash itself wasn't bad enough, it would also rupture a hidden gas line underneath the building. Within seconds, fire erupted. Bystanders watched in shock as flames consumed the vehicle. Inside, 2 people were trapped. That's when 2 courageous strangers risked their lives, pulling the driver and passenger out just minutes before the SUV was swallowed by the fire. As firefighters rushed in, trying to control the blaze, the building exploded. The blast tore apart the Domino's, sending debris flying into the night sky and causing significant damage to the businesses next door, a Jimmy John's and a Supercuts. Miraculously, nobody was injured and everybody survived. Even the firefighters standing near the restaurant when it exploded managed to walk away unharmed. The Domino's, however, was reduced to rubble. What had been a neighborhood pizza joint became the epicenter of one of Harriman's most destructive accidents.
God.
The Mayo incident. It was supposed to be just another quiet evening shift at a Subway near downtown Atlanta, the kind of Sunday where the streets slow down and customers trickle in for a late-night sandwich. Inside, 2 young employees were working, doing their jobs, making food, and chatting with regulars. As the customers sat down to enjoy their food, the door smashed open and a very odd-looking man walked up to the counter to order a sandwich. What happened next would quickly turn everybody's night into a complete nightmare. With what seemed like an insignificant and easily resolvable issue, tensions began to rise. The disagreement, which could have ended with a simple solution, instead festered, and the customer's anger built up until it boiled over. Words turned into threats, threats turned into physical exclamations, and before you knew it, the psychopath pulled out a weapon. In seconds, before anyone could react, fate was already sealed. The 26-year-old woman immediately collapsed behind the counter, unfortunately unresponsive, and her 24-year-old co-worker was also terribly struck, but they somehow clung to life. To make it worse, the victim's son was inside the store and witnessed all the horror unfold. Police later arrested the suspect, a 36-year-old man who lived
Do
just
it.
across the street. He
He
was
should be
charged with
arrested.
multiple felonies and later booked that same night. Investigators
Wow.
said the entire
That's
incident
ins-
started simply because he thought there was too much mayo on his sandwich.
Oh!
Wild Wings. It was just after
You killed someone over mayonnaise? Why? No. There are very few times where I will condone and say hurt that person or kill that person. Or end that person. Well, order in the court. I hereby sentence thee to the death penalty. Death by injection. Adjourned. I think that's what they say.
5:30 p.m. at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Burlington, Massachusetts. The dinner rush was minutes away, and employees were scrambling to prep the floor, the food, and the restaurant. That's when a simple routine cleaning would escalate into a complete catastrophe. You see, earlier that day, a worker had to mop the kitchen floor with a standard acid-based cleaner. Just a little bit later, another worker followed up with more mopping to prepare for the upcoming dinner rush. The only issue was that he was using a chlorine bleach product. The two chemical cleaners clearly state that they should never be mixed, and the employee had just begun mopping the entire floor, entirely mixing the two. On contact, the chemicals fused into a bubbling green explosion. They created a dangerous, foaming, toxic mixture that began pumping out lethal gas at high doses. The fumes spread instantly. Employees began coughing, their eyes burning, and their lungs felt like they caught on fire. One by one, people ran for the exit, but the floor was already slick with danger. That's when the manager of the building acted fast and grabbed a squeegee. He wasn't thinking about himself, he was only thinking about his team and his customers. He ran out to the floor and began pushing the toxic sludge toward a drain, trying to contain it before more people could get injured. But, unfortunately, the fumes overwhelmed him. His chest tightened, his lungs burned, and within moments he completely collapsed. Co-workers and bystanders tried desperately to get him outside, but the fumes were too strong. By the time they got to him, it was already too late. 13 people were hospitalized that day, and tragically, the only one who didn't make it out was the manager. The McDonald's incident. It was the early...
Manager is a good person. She immediately went to help to save other people. That is a good person. Have a potato.
hours of a Sunday morning in Lima, Peru. At a McDonald's in the Pueblo Libre district, the kitchen crew was wrapping up another long, grueling shift. A young 19-year-old woman and her 18-year-old boyfriend were finishing up that night. The two had plans to attend college, and they were both saving up heavily to continue their studies. Unfortunately enough, this night would ensure that they didn't ever see that dream. According to police, the 19-year-old was cleaning a soda machine when it delivered a strong electric shock. Her body jolted violently, not being able to handle the voltage. Gabriel panicked. Desperate to save her, he quickly dropped what he was doing and rushed in to help. But the moment he touched her, the same current began surging through him too. Sadly, it immediately finished him. By the time emergency responders arrived, both of the employees were already done for. Reports surfaced that the 19-year-old had complained about being forced to clean equipment without proper gloves or boots, while also complaining of being pushed into 12-hour shifts without adequate safety gear. Tina's Burrito.
That is the company's fault. If you are being told to clean something without proper, gear, equipment to do the job right and safe, if you say, hey, I need to have these so then I can do this safely and correctly, and the company denies, the company should be under fire. That is crazy.
It was just another night in Vernon, California, a strange industrial pocket just south of downtown Los Angeles, the kind of place with only a couple hundred residents, but sprawling with massive factories that keep the city supplied. One of those factories is Tina's Burritos, a plant that's been churning out frozen burritos for over 40 years, producing nearly 1 million burritos per day. But on this night, the factory floor turned into the scene of a nightmare. At around 9 p.m., a 19-year-old custodian was tasked with tending to the plant's massive meat grinder. The contraption was full with burrito meat and was waiting to be cleaned, and so, as expected to by his job, he began climbing into the inside of the machine to clean it. In this case, the burrito meat grinding machine was not locked, nor was it secure. It's still unclear as to whether an item fell and caused the machine to turn on, or if an employee decided to try to make another batch of burrito meat. But, unfortunately, while the 19-year-old was inside of the machine cleaning out the meat, he would hear the industrial mechanism slowly power up and lock into place. The man panicked and shouted for the machine to be turned off, but his cries fell on deaf ears. Once fully turned on, the machine began grinding. His screams echoed across the factory, finally grasping the attention of workers who then rushed to stop the machine. But by the time it finally shut down, there was nothing anyone could do. Paramedics and firefighters arrived, but the scene was already unspeakable. The young man's fate was already sealed. Unfortunately, he was gone in a way too dreadful to describe. The plant shut down immediately. OSHA investigators arrived, and like similar tragedies before, first responders were faced with the grim task of recovering what was left of his body. The process nearly took an hour for them to complete. Life wasn't always like this. There was a time where we didn't have a Whataburger or McDonald's, but rather just nuts, berries.
I'm sorry, hold on. Tina's burritos accident. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh. Wow.
And whatever else we could find to eat that day. Nowadays, you have access to places like these for a quick meal if you're in a rush. Fast food is extremely unhealthy, and you should never make it a habit to eat it. But if you do find yourself at one of the stores, have patience with the employees. It's a grueling industry to work in. With no further ado, have a happy day.
And I will. And you. Watching. What are you doing? Why haven't you subscribed yet? Why haven't you liked the video? Do I need to fix you? I got something to fix you. I can fix you up pretty well. I can do it. Just do it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. But you should also subscribe. Hey. And I'll see all you in the next video. Who knows when it will come out? But all I know is the time. That time is hammer time. That's embarrassing. And that time is hammer time. Fuck you.